Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be tackling a project, or at least starting a project that I've been putting off for a while now, and that's getting the greenhouse cleaned out. And you might ask, well, why have you been putting it off, Natalie, Mama Bear? Well, the greenhouse is not 100% finished, so we weren't able to actually start any seeds in there this year. We were planning over the winter to get it finished, to get the ventilation hooked up and the electric and everything like that. But, you know, life happens and priorities change and it got pushed back. So that's going to be our big project for this year and this winter, so that next year in 2024, we can actually start growing our own seeds and flowers from the seed starts. So I'll take you up to the greenhouse in a minute to show you the mess that I've kind of gotten myself into, that we've gotten ourselves into right now. But first, I wanted to show you something pretty cool. Good morning. I can't get too close, Stripey. The fence is on. Last night, a very sweet man from church, Mr. Charles Wagner, dropped off a whole bunch of produce that was in the process of spoiling, so that we could feed it to the pigs and the chickens, and let me tell you, they are loving it. Of course, you still got Red over there with his head in the regular feed bucket, but the other boys, they are very much enjoying this feast. And this is their first time eating out of the slop trough that we set up here, so they're still kind of trying to figure that out. Last night Mario realized that he could just go to one end and climb into it, but kind of like Stripey's doing right now. And that's what we're planning on using for the rest of the year, is the slop bucket for when we have spoiled produce and stuff that's about to start going bad. But we had a lot of it last night, so we kind of tossed it on the ground for them as well. So they've been making quite a feast of it. But we appreciate it so much, and so do the pigs. They've absolutely had a blast munching on everything, and we've had, I think, just as much fun watching them. So I definitely wanted to give a huge shout out, thank you. It's very, very much appreciated. So now that I've put off starting this task even longer, let's get up to the greenhouse and I'll show you what I'm working with. Okay, so we're back up here at the greenhouse, and as mentioned in one of the storm damage videos, part of the greenhouse roof did tear, so we do still have to get that fixed here soon. We do have more of the plastic. We have enough to do the entire roof again, but it's just a matter of getting this all pulled down and getting the new one put back up. So hopefully here in a week or so we'll be able to get that knocked out. But let me show you the storage area that the greenhouse has become over the winter. And being halfway through April already, we're only a couple of weeks away from having flowers. So even though we're not able to do any of our own starts this year, we will still be buying and selling wholesale. So we will need the greenhouse operational to be able to store our flowers and our vegetable plants and everything for when we sell them here at the store. So today, I'm at least going to start getting this cleared out. We've got the silver tables here. We've got 4 of these, and that's what we used as our tables to hold the potted plants and the flats of our vegetable plants last year in here. And then we just hung the hanging baskets around the entirety of the tables. So that's what we're going to be doing this year as well. So essentially what I need to do is just get everything cleared out to the point where I can get these tables easily accessible, so that we are ready to bring flowers into the greenhouse this year. And You might ask, what's up with all the cardboard? Well, let me tell you. I sell on eBay a lot. I have my own eBay store, so I do a lot of eBay business. I end up with a lot of excess cardboard from Uline. That's where I buy all my cardboard from, my cardboard boxes. And then, of course, during the summer, we end up with a lot of Gaylords when we get to watermelon and cantaloupe time. So last year, Dirk, in both of our gardens, the one up by the house and the one down by the barn, used a bunch of cardboard to lay on the ground to help with weeds. Well, if you've watched some of my videos before, you know the frustration that I've had with the cardboard up in the garden by the house. It dried out over the year, worked great as a weed barrier, but it dries out over time, and then the wind blows, have some crazy storms, and cardboard's blowing everywhere. So I told Dirk, no cardboard in my garden this year, because the garden up by the house is going to be kind of my pride and joy, where I grow all of our tomatoes, cucumbers, zucchini, squash, and I'm making it my mission. I'm going on a battle against weeds this year. I know weeds in a garden, something that, I mean, it's unavoidable, you know, if you don't have the time to be out there constantly weeding, but I kind of want to prove to myself that I can keep it well weeded and keep a very nice garden. So that's where I'm at this year. But I told Dirk, no cardboard up there for me. I don't want to have to chase it around the yard hours at a time if we have a big storm come through. So he is still going to use cardboard down in his big gardens, and he's got a better way this year of actually kind of securing it to the ground so it won't blow away. But in the meantime, we're left with all the cardboard here in the greenhouse. And what I think that I'm actually going to do, once I get the cardboard that's not broken down, I'm probably actually going to end up moving that back into the store, into one of my back rooms. A lot of it came from there, but until Dirk gets the garden tilled up down there and is ready to get the cardboard broken down and put out, it's in the way. So the not broken down cardboard, I'll probably just lug back into the store until he's ready for it. And then the Gaylords that are already broken down, I'm probably just gonna put down on the floor in here once I get the space cleared out. And that'll help kill out the weeds that have been growing in here and give us a little bit more of a stable flooring. So I think we're eventually gonna be putting just down lime, maybe some sand in here. I don't think we're gonna do anything too crazy with the flooring. And we're eventually gonna have tables lining both sides of the greenhouse all the way down, and then we'll have a thinner table going the entire length of the greenhouse down the middle, and then we'll have some poles hanging on both sides where we can store our hanging baskets. So a lot of good things coming for the greenhouse. It's just a matter of getting there. And that just goes to show, you know, if you want to start up a project like this, it doesn't have to be done perfectly. It doesn't have to be done all at once. If you're okay with taking your time, you know, it might take a couple years to get it done, like in our case, but once we have it done, we're going to have a pretty good setup here. So I'm looking forward to that. So I'll just have y'all with me here on this little cleanup day today. I don't know how much I'll get through. We'll see. So, another thing, we've been storing our pig feed in here underneath the tarps. Goodness gracious. You're just going to have to take my word for it that it's under there. We're only down to a few more bags. We've got to fill up again next week. But since we have that deep freeze, it's still kind of cleaning out, airing out. I'm hoping that Monday and Tuesday when Dirk's off, we can go ahead and get that finished, getting it cleaned out and get it down to the lean-to by the pigs so we can get these tables out of here. Or keep the tables, use the tables for the greenhouse, but get the pig feed out of here. So, with that being said, let's jump into some work. Well, after standing around for another 5 minutes, looking around, trying to decide which corner I want to start in, I've decided with this corner. There's enough, or it's not too overly crowded, and I think I can get this stuff moved out of the way to clear a floor space so that I can start getting some of the broken down cardboard boxes over here on the floor. I think it's a good place to start. I may end up with more of a mess than what I had to begin with, but you don't know until you get started. And this greenhouse, Dirk has built the entire thing himself. We had a bunch of old scrap metal, and that's what's lining the bottom. And I want to say that a lot of the lumber he already had here himself. We came across a lady, I forget what city she's out of, a few years back that had a bunch of hoop houses and everything set up, and she was actually in the process of trying to get out of that business, so she was selling everything. And we ended up getting, goodness, what's 4, 7, 8, I want to say 13 or 14 hoops for the greenhouses, and we still have maybe 5 hoops left, and we're actually in the process of trying to make a big hoop coop for having a second flock of chickens. So that'll be something to stay tuned for. I'm sure we'll get that done this summer at some point. But everything else, you know, it just goes to show how important it really is if you're homesteading or doing anything like this, how important it is to really save everything if you're able to, if you have the space. And really, I shouldn't have been using this as a storage center all winter, but it really has come in handy. So I'll just deal with the repercussions of having to clean it out again now. And this table, while it's nice, won't stay in here for the greenhouse. Dirk uses this when he goes up to Bedford during the summer to set up his produce stand. I've got a little bit of progress made. Got all the weeds pulled up, well, for the most part. Got some cardboard laid. I think I'm going to go ahead and leave this table a little farther out from the wall. That way we can utilize both sides this year. My initial intent was to get all this potting soil moved to a corner. I don't need that much of an arm workout today, so it's just going to stay put. We'll use it quick enough this year, and then it'll be out of our way. So, but yeah, this is pretty much what I'm planning on doing with the ground. And, you know, Dirk might not have any cardboard left for his garden by the time I'm done in here. But, I know it doesn't look the prettiest, but, you know, if you've watched our channel so far, you know, if you've been following along with our videos, you know we're all about repurposing and everything, and it doesn't have to look pretty, you know. I mean, would it be nice to have a greenhouse that looks like it walked off of HGTV? Sure, but let's face it, I don't have the time or energy to keep up something looking pristine like it came out of a magazine every single day. And the people that are gonna come and buy produce and buy flowers from us, they don't care what our greenhouse looks like. They just want the produce to be good and the flowers to be pretty. So, and also we are, as I've mentioned before, we don't take out any money to work on any of the projects around here. It's all cash flow. We are huge Dave Ramsey followers. Just a little bit backstory about me. When I moved back up to Indiana in 2018, I was almost $14,000 in credit card debt, and Dirk actually introduced me to Dave Ramsey and the baby steps and all that, and in 13 months I was credit card debt free, and baby, I'm never going back. Not a single soul on this planet can convince me that it's a good idea to have a credit card. Not after digging myself out of that hole. But that's no judgment, no shame to credit card users out there. You know, everyone has their own level of financial dependence on them or financial capabilities, whatever. And, you know, this world would be an awfully boring place if everybody was the same. So this is just how we're living, and so that's why a lot of times you walk by, looks like something's kind of been pieced together from a bunch of different random parts. We're not going to go spend a bunch of money on something that we can just throw together with something that we've already got around the house. But I'm liking it so far. You know, this greenhouse has been stressing me out here lately. If you've watched, it's been a long time since I posted it now, The Real Talk with Mama Bear, you'll know that sometimes my anxiety gets the best of me, especially when it comes to a lot of stuff being cluttered and crowded and a lot of stuff going on at once. And it just helps to get your hands dirty and just start working. Like I said, I might not get this done today. It's probably going to be a multi-part video. We'll probably have dozens of videos with greenhouse work by the time it's all said and done. But a little bit of progress goes a long way in terms of anxiety and making you feel like you're accomplishing something. So with that being said, let's jump back into it. So we're really starting to see some progress now. I think I made a wise choice starting from this end of the greenhouse. So again, gonna keep this table a little bit away from the wall so that we can use both sides when it comes to the hanging baskets and storage. So, okay. So now I'm at the worst part of it. I guess the right corner's not too bad. And I don't know if you can see through the door, the back side of the porch of the store also has a bunch of greenhouse stuff on it, pots and everything like that. And I'd really like to get that cleaned out and get a lot of that stuff in here, since we won't be doing any actual construction on the greenhouse during the summer while it's open. I mean, we might work on the doors, get the doors finished, maybe the electric, but I might try to see if I can get a shelf or something in here just so that we can get that cleared out and I can use that for actual sale items for the store. I have a lot of people that tend to wander over there, and unfortunately that stuff's not for sale usually. So I think if I get a little shelf in here, might do the trick. But again, probably not going to be a project for today because that little area there is pretty filled up with stuff. So I guess my next task is going to be to try and get this cardboard that I'm not going to use in here, go ahead and get it out of here. So let's do it. Okay, took a little bit of sweating to get that corner cleaned out. And some of it, I just had to throw a bunch of the cardboard outside of the greenhouse. Like I said, I'm going to be moving that into one of the back rooms of the store. I don't need to take y'all with me to do that, though. So, it's coming along, y'all. I can actually see the end in sight to the point where we will actually be ready to, at the very least, have our flowers and vegetable plants in here. And I should mention that when we are selling the flowers and the plants and everything on the weekends when the store's open, I move everything outside of the greenhouse. We have tables set up outside. It's a good draw to get people in, especially if they don't know that we sell produce and the flowers and everything. So usually if customers are coming in here to shop, it's when they make appointments through the week when the store's not open, or if we just have an overflow of product. So like I said, you know, it doesn't have to look beautiful in here, and it'll still look a lot different yet before we actually open and have product moving out of here. But I'm really happy with the progress I'm making here today. So I honestly didn't know what to expect when I started working on this today. Part of me didn't think that I'd make it past one corner getting cleaned out. So I tend to find that that happens with me a lot, is that if I'm dreading a project, if it's a big project or just something that I'm not really into, a lot of times once I actually start working, that changes and I kind of get into it and I get addicted to seeing the progress that I'm making and I want to continue. So I've got a little bit more time before I have to go up and get Dirk up for work. So I'm gonna keep trekking along at it and see if I can't get a couple of these tables moved over, and I might even get really ambitious and try to get that shelf moved in here today, but we'll see yet. All right, we are really starting to come along now. Got all the excess cardboard out, all the excess plastic bins out. And I mean, like I said, I know it's not pretty. It'll look better by the time we get flowers and produce in here, but push comes to shove, you know, if something comes up and for some reason we can't get in here and don't have time to get in here before Mother's Day weekend, which is usually when we will bring our first load of flowers home. I mean, she's good enough to hold some flowers for us. So I'm happy with the work that I've gotten done so far today. I'm not done, but it is time to go wake up Dirk. So I'm going to take a quick break to do that and to charge up my GoPro a little bit. And then I'll be back to see what else I might want to get into in here today. So stay tuned. All right, so got Dirk up. And then I came back down here, and the more that I've been looking around the little area on the porch of stuff that I kind of want to move in here, I just started realizing it's going to take a lot more work than I realized. Probably, that job's probably going to be a few hours, just because there's so many small components, and not everything that's out there is going to be coming in here. So if I'm going to start tackling that project, I just need a lot more hours than I'm willing to dedicate to that right now. There's still quite a few other things that I need to get working on today. So I think I'm gonna leave this as it is for right now. Like I said, this is gonna be a multi-part series, I'm sure. And I mean, of the greenhouse process in general, we've got a lot to do to get it to where it's 100% how we want it. So you'll see a lot more of the greenhouse this year. But I always regret not taking a before picture, but if you go to the beginning of the video where you see what I started working with, there's definitely been a lot of improvement made today. So push comes to shove, we could move flowers in here tomorrow if we needed to. So I'm happy with it, and I'm gonna leave this project for another day, and you can catch up with me then to see what else I'm getting into in here. And Dirk didn't know that I was going to be working on this today. When I went to sleep last night, this was not anywhere on my radar of projects to tackle today. So I'll be able to get him down here and see what he thinks, and he might have some different ideas of how he wants the table set up for this season. So we'll wait and knock that out and see what he thinks. That way I'm not doing double work if he wants to change some stuff around. So thanks for hanging out with me this morning, working on this. And it just goes to show, you know, if you want a greenhouse on your property, it doesn't have to be an overnight job. You know, it can take a while. You can spend some time working on it. Doesn't have to get done all at once, and doesn't always have to look pretty. Like I said, you know, when customers come shopping for their produce and their flowers, the look of the greenhouse is way at the bottom of their priority of what they're wanting when they leave with their purchase. So come back. Thanks for watching. And like we like to say here on Mama Bear's Homestead and More, keep on keeping on, friends.